The story begins from where we left off in the last episode. Lex Luthor emerges victorious in a power struggle between him and Gorilla Grodd over leadership in the Legion of Doom. Tala, a powerful sorceress and a former member of Project Cadmus, grew tired of competing against Brainiac that she betrayed Luthor and turned to Grodd. She releases him from prison and plays her part in raising an insurrection against Luthor. Eventually, Grodd was defeated and Tala was captured. She was then strapped to a contraption to use her as a mystical conduit to recreate Brainiac. The process was torture and she eventually succumbed to the excruciating agony, but not before using the last of her strength to revive Darkseid. Instead, as her final act of revenge on Luthor. Everyone was shocked to find Darkseid instead of Brainiac. Darkseid sees their hostility and immediately destroys the Hall of Doom before he returns to his home planet, Apokolips. He then prepares his army to invade Earth, seeking revenge against Superman for killing him. Lex Luthor and the surviving members of the Legion of Doom show up at the Hall of Justice to warn the Justice League of Darkseid. Superman wondered how they survived the explosion. Lex explains that they survived thanks to Sinestro's powers. A nearby planet was drawn to their location after witnessing the explosion. A hero from planet Genesis shows up to help, but they decided to take him out and use his technology to return to Earth. With Superman and Luthor arguing, Giganta stands between them and explains that they wanted to warn the Justice League of Darkseid as he planned to conquer Earth. Green Lantern thanks them for the heads up, but Wonder Woman tells them they will be placed in holding cells. Atomic Skull objects to it and prepares to fight when Mr. Terrific suddenly informs them that they have observed multiple hyperspace incursions worldwide. They later witness Darkseid's massive army go through the several Boom Tube portals. At the Watchtower, all Justice League members are called to action while Hawkgirl informs them to prepare for an emergency teleport. She then tells Mr. Terrific to send them first while the others prepare for battle. Superman then orders the other heroes to lock up Lex and the other villains. Giganta walks up to him and claims that they are not sitting out for a fight while the world is at stake. While members of both teams are prepared to fight one another, Batman claims they need all the help they can get. Superman objects to fighting with Lex Luthor, but Lex explains that their intention for helping is simply taking their revenge on Darkseid. Once everything is over, things will return to the way it was as opposing sides. With Superman agreeing to the villains helping, Wonder Woman informs Mr. Terrific to put the villains in teams, with regular members of the Justice League to keep watch over them. Batman asks Mr. Terrific to search through the telemetry on the invading attack groups. He suspects that Darkseid would be the most protected mothership. Mr. Terrific claims that given the description Batman gave, he believes it to be the one at Metropolis, to which he then teleports Superman, Batman, and Luthor to the Daily Bugle. Meanwhile, other heroes across the world are seen teleporting to the battlefield per Hawkgirl's instructions. At the Tokyo incursion, Sinestro, Steel Dove, Hawk, Creeper, Question, and Captain Atom form a team to fight off the invading horde. Steel informs Mr. Terrific that upon closer inspection of the big burrowing machines, he concludes that they are magma tappers. Mr. Terrific suspects that Darkseid plans on tapping the magma at the Earth's core, creating a fire vent. Steel worries that should they succeed, it would be the end of the Earth. Mr. Terrific informs them all to destroy the drills at all costs. Meanwhile, Dr. Light, Green Arrow, Black Canary, and Bizarro are transported to Australia to fight the invading army. Assigned to the New York incursion are Hawkgirl, Commander Steel, and Atomic Skull, who fight their way through a horde of parademons. Hawkgirl carries Atomic Skull to unleash his powers on the parademons and clears a path for them straight at the drill. They manage to get close to the drill, which Hawkgirl claims is the main power coupling. She then asks Atomic Skull to cover her back while she destroys the drill. Atomic Skull was so focused on fighting on one side that a parademon managed to attack Hawkgirl with a spear at her back. As she's down on her knees from the unbearable pain, a parademon slowly walks up to her to finish the job when Commander Steel saves her by throwing a shield at its head. Hawkgirl then picks up her mace and walks to the drill to finish the job. Atomic Skull catches her as she is thrown back and runs to safety before the drills blow up. In France, Flash, Green Lantern, and Giganta team up to fight Darkseid's army. Green Lantern claims they need to find a way to destroy the drill, to which Flash comically jokes about throwing it to the sun. Green Lantern thinks it's a great idea and asks Flash to create a trench around it. Flash quickly creates a trench with his super speed. Green Lantern then uses his powers to build a giant catapult, sending the drill to an escaping mothership that blew up in the air. At the Great Wall of China, Wonder Woman, Shining Knight, Vigilante, and Star Sapphire make a last stand as they protect the locals from the invading army. Star Sapphire gets knocked out when the parademons attack her from behind, Shining Knight catches her as she falls from a great height, but the parademons quickly surround them. An elderly couple witnesses the battle, to which the older man claims he needs to help. Wonder Woman destroys an alien mothership using her tanks. She then flies to help Shining Knight and the unconscious Star Sapphire, who the parademons surround. Star Sapphire recovers and tries to fend off the enemy attacks when an old man walks up to them and claims he is here to help. Although grateful for his intentions, Wonder Woman tries to dismiss him when she's shocked to find him holding his own against the enemy. The old man transforms into a dragon and reveals himself as Martian Manhunter. He claims he has much to tell Wonder Woman, but puts it aside for now and focuses on the enemy. Superman, Batman, and Luthor show up to confront Darkseid himself at the Daily Bugle in Metropolis. As hordes of parademons come at them, Batman and Luthor stand their ground while Superman charges toward the mothership. Luthor wonders if there was a plan, to which Batman explains that they continue fighting the enemy horde until they lure out Darkseid. They later meet with Darkseid, who explains that everything happening is on Superman. He claims that the skies will rain fire, the oceans will boil, and the streets will run red with blood of billions of people, and only then will he kill Superman after all hope has been extinguished. Furious for taking away his chance at recreating Brainiac, Luthor charges at Darkseid, which he quickly blows away to the side of the building. Batman jumps off to save Luthor using the bat rope, and enters the building. Alone with Superman, Darkseid claims that he's more powerful than he ever was before. He says that Superman barely managed to hold his own from their last fight. He then lifts the colossal Daily Bugle statue and bashes it on top of Superman, which sends him down to the lowest floor of the building. Darkseid digs out a weakened Superman and grabs him by the neck. Batman threw a batarang at Darkseid. Darkseid then orders his parademons to attack Batman and Luthor. Thanks to Batman interfering, it gave Superman enough time to recover, to which he sneaks up behind Darkseid and punches him into the wreckage. As Batman and Luthor try to hold their own against the parademons, Batman claims he's out of weapons. Luthor offers him a gun, but Batman refuses, claiming that guns are not his style. Batman once again interferes with Darkseid's fight with Superman. Furious at his interference, Darkseid attacks him with the Omega Beam, lasers that chase its target no matter what. Batman dodged his attack by luring it toward a parademon that impressed even Darkseid. Wondering if Luthor has the same skills as Batman, he turns his eyes at him. When Luthor sees he is about to be attacked, he runs away, which shocks Superman. With no one standing against him, Darkseid then continues beating up Superman and breaks his back, telling him that he doesn't stand a chance against him, who he claims is a god. Luthor climbed back up and saw Metron watching the battle unfold. He confronts Metron, claiming that he knew this was going to happen. Metron explains that this was the likely outcome of Luthor's foolhardy decisions. Luthor demands that he help him, but Metron refuses, claiming he's in no position to make demands of him. He explains that he warned him of dabbling in forces that are beyond his comprehension. After claiming to know things others don't, Luthor goads Metron to reveal Darkseid's weakness. He confirms Luthor's suspicions and claims he knows how to beat Darkseid, but worries about his risks. Luthor forces him to tell him what he knows while pointing a gun at his head. Metron willingly agrees and takes him to a different dimension. They later arrive at the Source Wall, which protects the most significant knowledge of the universe. Metron claims this is as far as he goes and leaves Luthor to take the journey alone. He then gives him one last warning, claiming that only a 12th level intellect can survive the ordeal. Luthor claims he's overqualified and jumps towards the Source Wall. As Superman struggles to stand up to Darkseid, Batman regains consciousness and attacks him from behind. Darkseid tosses him aside, claiming that all this fighting and struggling are pointless. Superman recovers from his last attack and pins Darkseid to the wall. He explains that Batman and the others in his team will not stop fighting until their last breath. Superman claims he has a different problem, though. He explains that living in a world filled with fragile things and people, he was always bothered with taking extra care of not breaking something or someone. He's always ensured not to lose control or someone could die. Given that Darkseid can handle his brute strength, Superman claims it's a rare opportunity for him to cut loose and show him just how powerful he is. One punch from Superman warped the space around them and sent Darkseid flying through several buildings. He then catches up to Darkseid's flying body and sends it crashing down to the ground. When Darkseid stands back up again, Superman charges at him, but Darkseid attacks him with blue lightning. He calls it the Agony Matrix and explains that it is a direct neurostimulation to pain receptors. Think of it as the great pain a person has felt and multiply it by 1,000, which continues to attack its target until it dies. Seeing Superman struggling against the agony matrix has earned him Darkseid's respect. Darkseid claims that despite everything, he still has mercy and takes out a kryptonite dagger, suggesting that he will kill Superman there. Darkseid claims that he will carve out his heart and attach it to a pike for all the world to see, when Luthor suddenly arrives with a proposal. Luthor casually walks towards Darkseid and apologizes for being late. Darkseid claims that challenging him is insane, but Luthor explains that he has what he needs. Luthor opens his hands, which Darkseid recognizes as the anti-life equation. Luthor claims it as his gift to him. As Darkseid puts his hands over it, a bright light covers them, which both Superman and Batman witness. Superman tries to stop Luthor, but Batman stops him, claiming it's already too late, and helps him to safety. It wasn't long before Luthor and Darkseid were caught in a massive explosion. With Darkseid gone, his armies retreat to the Boom Tube portal and return to Apocalypse. Everyone was shocked to find that the world was saved thanks to Lex Luthor, which even Superman did not expect. Although Superman thinks they both died, given that there was nothing left of them at the scene, Batman claims that he doubts they are dead. Hawkgirl says they'll be back, and Martian Manhunter claims they will be ready for him. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman claims that Luthor's accomplices be placed in holding cells. Atomic Skull speaks up and tells them that they too helped fight to save the world and wonders if they get consideration for their help. Batman agrees and gives the villains a 5-minute head start. As the villains scramble to run away from the heroes, Giganta kisses Flash before she leaves. The League is then seen leaving the building to run after the villains. Superman claims that Batman is getting soft in his old age. The end. Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos, and please make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.